Oh folks, so it's over a year now since we installed the Hive system into the house, so I thought it's about time we did a review and update you on how I've got on over the year, how the family's got on with using it, and I'll give you a couple of little problems that we've had along the way. So let's get in and have a look at the Hive after a year. So here we have the Hive. It's sat in our hallway and it's sat here, or it's been attached to the wall I should say, for the past year. Now, what problems have we had with the system? The biggest problem that we had with the Hive was the hub unit decided to stop working. Now, that was earlier this year, 2019, because Hive pushed out a mandatory update to all of the hubs, and it seems quite a lot of them failed. It's called bricking in the industry, where a firmware upload is pushed out to an electronics device, it fails the upload or the update, and the device can no longer boot or run correctly. Went through all sorts of diagnostics with Hive over the phone, and they determined that the unit was faulty, so they got one shipped out to me, a replacement. Now that took around about a week, and unfortunately, because what I tried to do was repair the system, it meant that all of it failed. So during that week we only had manual control. By manual control, what I mean is using this unit, which is the one that's hardwired into the boiler that we've got here, by pressing one of the two buttons, either heating or hot water, we could turn that function on, and it did that for about an hour and then went back off again, equivalent of the boost function. So that was less than ideal, so that is a downside, and to be honest, that's the part I want to highlight the most about the Hive system. So the big drawback to a system like this is something that's come into focus quite recently. It's all about Internet of Things, and the Hive is a great example of Internet of Things. So although the system doesn't have to be connected to the internet, that's where you get the most functionality. That's where you can use the application to remotely switch it on and off, do the presence, so when you leave the house it detects, and it can change the programming and things like that. Now that all relies on British Gas and Hive. So if for whatever reason their servers fail, or they shut them down or discontinue the product or anything like that, you will lose that internet functionality and the app on your phone will stop functioning. Now it won't affect this unit's operation and the operation of your heating programmer, but bear in mind that most of the programming is done online for this. You'd have to go through the menus on the unit itself to do the programming, and that can be quite a chore. So just something to be aware of if the service ever got pulled. Now, to be honest, and to be fair to Hive and British Gas, there are no plans for them to discontinue the service. Certainly nothing published, made aware, or anything like that. So it may just be a little bit of paranoia, but it needs pointing out that these systems do rely on that. And if you don't have it in the future, it will limit the functionality of it. Now on to the claims of it saving you energy and saving you money in the long run. I haven't really found this at all. So over the year, and it's just over a year that we've used this, it hasn't really changed our our gas bill for our heating at all. The only thing that we have noticed is it's gone up, but that's because of inflation. So I think the claims that Hive will save you money in the long run, I think they are a little bit exaggerated, because actually, if anything, we've found because we can turn the unit on and off easily and use boost and remote boost and things like that, we actually turn it on more often, where in the past we'd have just put up with being in the cold a little bit, or waiting for the heating timer to come on. In this situation, what we're doing is we're turning it on early because we know we can. So I think, as with most gadgets like this, the hype over saving money on your fuel isn't really going to make much impact on you. I'd be surprised. In fact, if you have saved, if you've bought the Hive and you use it and you have saved, please do put a comment down the bottom and let me know, because obviously this is just a sample of one. It's just me. So it may just be our individual circumstance. We tried a few places for the the thermostat. Remember, it does just unclip from the wall. So the good thing is you can just place it wherever you want and test it out around your home and see how you get on with it. So that is a very nice thing, I think. Battery-wise, these 4 batteries are the second set of batteries that we've put in. So it does last a long time, but just under a year, I would say, was how long we've managed to get out of these. Knowing that it was going to run out of battery is a little bit tricky. I found it because I was in the app and it told me about it. I haven't seen whether it'll tell you or flash or warn you on the screen here when it's going to run out, because there isn't really a battery indicator on the normal screen. Speaking about the screen, that takes me on to the other point, and this. This is the state that the thermostat sits in pretty much 99% of its life. As you can see, it looks quite nice. It's quite stylish. It's metal reflective. You can see it reflecting all over the place, but it doesn't actually tell you anything. To see anything, you have to wake the screen up, as you've seen me doing throughout the video. And to me, that's not ideal. Now, obviously, this is a battery saving function. However, I would actually like that screen to stay on, or at least show me the temperature. So when you're walking past it, you're aware of what state things are in. Now, this may have quite a detrimental effect to the battery, I understand that, but I think it should be an option, and unfortunately, it's not an option in any of the settings. So you're stuck with this shiny screen that only comes on when you press buttons and wake the system up. And that takes me on to the rest of the programming. Now, you set all of the on-off timers using the Hive app or the website. I find it easier on the website because then you've got a keyboard, mouse, that kind of thing to set all the programming. However, it's not quite as flexible as you think. You'd think a system like this would be pretty flexible because it has the power of computers. It's a processor inside, so it's not like the old programmers that had very limited memory, storage, all of that kind of thing. Well, unfortunately, Hive have kind of caused a problem in that you can only have a set number of on-off sequences per day. So each day you can only schedule in a certain number of on-off functions for your heating and hot water. And this is really restrictive, I find. So in the Hive app itself on your mobile, what you can do is you can look and go through all of the different programs. Now, you see it runs really slowly on my phone, unfortunately. But here we have the settings. Now you can see I've also got a few of the bulbs that are working as well. Those are quite useful, being able to turn them on and off, set programs for them, set brightness levels as well, which is quite a nice function, so that on a night time we don't have them on 100% because it's a little bit too bright. So that's quite a nice extra feature. But if I go in and show you the programming for the heating, then you'll see the problem that I've got in that I can't do any more programmed schedule changes. So at the moment, generally, if I go on to one of the weekdays, so Monday, you'll see we have it warm first thing, then it's off pretty much all day until we come back home, the heating's on, and then just as we go to bed, it actually boosts a little bit so that it's nice and warm for us going to bed. Now, what I now need is, because I've been working from home quite a bit, I could do with a boost midday. So what I'd need to do is go into this program and create a new one. So I'd need an extra entry in there. Now if I remember rightly, you press this button and you choose add time slot. Now what you'd need to do is add 2 time slots, one for the off time up to when you want, then the second one for the on time for when I want. And this is where the problem comes in. So if I try and set it to come on from 11 in the morning, just for an hour, so to 12 p.m. like so, and click done. Right, now you see what's happened here. What it's done is it's added in the timer that I want, but it's set it to 3 p.m, which is the next program point. So what I need to do is, first of all, I need to go back and I need to add another one because I want an off time in the middle here. So if I click this button, and it's now grayed out. I am not able to add any more. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 programs per day. That's the maximum. That's all you can do. So if I try to adjust this, if I go in and I change that 3 p.m, the end time, if I change that down to say 1 p.m, click done and go back, you'll see it doesn't do it. It won't allow me to do that because there aren't enough programs to go in. It doesn't have the ability. So what I need to do to go back is I need to get rid of this program, which will revert it back to what I had before. And what it means is I have to manually put the boost in when it gets cold in the house, which kind of defeats the point of it, unfortunately. So that is probably one of the biggest downsides, I think, to this, in that it's not quite as flexible as they like to make out. So although it's a computer program, it has its limitations. Now, whether that's the software they've written for the online changes, or the programmer, or the thermostat, or what, I don't know. But that, to me, is one of the biggest drawbacks. Here's the overview of all of my devices, which is quite useful. You can see what's on and off throughout the house. You can also get a basic idea of battery state of the thermostat, and you can click on that and you can get more information about your thermostat as well. Again, all of this needs the internet enabled hub for your Hive to work, so do bear in mind that that needs to be there to be able to do all of this. And from what I can tell, there are Amazon Alexa devices that do have hub function built in. However, these are also limited. Now, this is only from a recent conversation I had with somebody looking into buying one. They stated that the one built into Alexa is not as functional as the proper one. So again, I think I would recommend you buy the full version of the Hive Hub to do this if you want to buy it. So there we go, that's the good and the bad of the Hive Hub, and that's after a year, just over a year of use. I hope you found this video useful, and it's been of use to you if you're buying or have bought the Hive system. If you have any questions about it, do let me know in the comments below. I think I've covered most of the elements, but if there is something missing, put a comment below and I'll try to answer it as best as I can. But once again, thank you very much for watching, and remember to subscribe so you can see more of our electronics, car and repair videos, and we'll see you soon in the next video.